Spare the rod and spoil the child. These words were told to quench my lie. Each strike on light, my brighten smile. Till tears will form, my soul to cry. Welcome back, guys. This is Madness in Nigeria Living, and I'm your host, Gisi. Like I said in the previous episode, today we'll be taking a deep dive into the psyche of the Nigerian mind and punishment. The thing with punishment is, I do agree that punishment is very vital. And let me just say it, I am of the opinion that you shouldn't beat your kids. But that's not what this episode is about. It's not about inherently beating kids. It's about proper way to punish people and the long-lasting effect punishment can have on people. And more specifically, the long-lasting effect punishment has on the Nigerian psyche. Before I start, let me tell you a story. I have a friend. When he was in primary school, he took 4th position. From 1st to 4th. He got home expecting, first of all, he said he didn't go home. When he took 4th position, he was too scared to go home, so he went to his neighbor's place. The neighbor was like, what's wrong, what's happening? He started crying. The neighbor took him to their house and begged the dad not to beat the child. Mind you, the child took 4th position. 4th. Now, the dad did nothing, promising the neighbor not to beat his child. Cool, fine, beautiful, end of story. No. Fast forward during the holiday, that my friend's cousin came over and they were all playing. They were all having fun. Then his dad came to where they were playing, asked him to get a dictionary. I'm sorry for laughing. This story always makes me laugh. The dad told him to get a dictionary, yeah? And when he brought the dictionary, the dad said he should look for a word. It was like, okay, what word? Yeah. God have mercy. I'm sorry for laughing again. The dad told him to look for the word failure and read out the meaning to everybody there. That was a very interesting punishment. A punishment of dehumanizing him, or better still, a punishment of just breaking his spirit, because you're in front of your cousins, you guys are having fun, and now you're being punished for taking 4th position. That to most people, 4th position shouldn't be a bad deal, because most of the time when someone takes 4th position, the vast majority of their subjects, their courses, they would have gotten at least A, B or something like that. But no, he was being punished because he wasn't taking 1st position. And this also ties into the mindset of Nigerian parents always saying they all took 1st position. Now, what does this have to do with apology? Remember I said this is a sequel to the previous episode. You see, in Nigerian society, one thing that they always stress on is, if you do something wrong, say sorry, apologize for the wrong you did. But in reality, when punishment is involved, sorry is never a concept. Now, if that my friend coming back home took 4th position and told his dad, I'm so sorry I took 4th position, next time I will do better, next time I will put in more work, do you think the dad would have let him be? I don't think so. I personally don't think so. I do think though that the dad would have gotten more angry and increased the punishment. Because punishment is a way for Nigerians to feel morally right. It makes us feel good. It not only makes us feel good, it makes us feel we are good people inherently. Now, this is not a unique problem to Nigeria, first of all. For the Nigerian man, it plays a deep role in our development phase because a lot of people get punished. Like I said, punishment is not inherently wrong. The problem is how Nigerians punish, how Nigerian parents punish, how Nigerian pastors punish, how Nigerian teachers punish. I'm going to talk about these things. First of all, I said when I was making this podcast, I would try as much as possible not to talk about religion. But for today, I'm going to talk about the way religious people punish. Now, I'm going to use Christianity as the example, not because I'm trying to make fun of Christianity, but because it's the one I'm most familiar with. So, the punishment here is this. Imagine you're a church member. Maybe you're a youth as a church member. You were caught fornicating. And the pastors, the church find out about it. And what do? They give you this type of punishment. The punishment being, you can't do the rules you used to do in church. Maybe you're a part of the choir and now you have to sit at the back of the church so that everybody will know that you did this, so that you will feel bad, so that you feel ashamed for doing this. And what that does is it creates, first of all, an inner shame that they believe will prevent you from doing the sin again. But I would argue that what that does is it makes the Christian feel like there's something wrong with them, like they know this thing is a sin, why can't they do it? And instead of them to seek for guidance from God, which they will try to do, by the way, they will ultimately feel like that there's something inherently wrong with them. Now, that's the structure Nigerian people used to punish. We don't just punish. We punish in a way that breaks you so that you feel there's something inherently wrong with you. And it's not every time we do it intentionally, and that's the worst part. That's the madness. You're a child, let's say at the age of 7, your mom send you, hey you, go to my room, pick up my red bag. You enter the room, there are a lot of red bags. You aren't sure. Or maybe there are not a lot of red bags, but your vocabulary for colors then is limited to just red. And now you are seeing red, wherein there is red, burgundy, pink, crimson, different shades of red and whatnot. And because of that, you just randomly pick one. You take it to your mom. Your mom gets angry. I told you to get the red bag. Why do you like stressing me? Why you don't like beat you, spank you, slap you, do all that? And then it's like, okay, I should have known better. I should have gotten the red bag, even though you don't know what the red bag is. You are in your room. Your mom is calling you. You genuinely did not hear them call out your name. Your mom comes to the room. You, wasn't I calling you? Oh, I'm sorry, I did not beat you, spank you, slap you, do all that. And it's like, okay, next time you're supposed to hear better. Your mom makes dinner. And by the way, I'm just using mom because it sounds better to stay consistent, but it can be dad, it can be mom. I'm not trying to vilify being a mom. Your mom makes dinner, dish the food for you. The food is too much, you can't finish it. They beat you up. See the problem now. They beat you up for when you brought the red bag that you did not know better. The same amount, the same intensity. They beat you up for when you could not finish food. They beat you up for when you genuinely could not hear them. Now you don't know what you did wrong, because in all of this case scenario, what you did is different, but your punishment is the same. As a child, you can't tell the difference because you cannot understand the correlation between your crime and punishment. You can't. If you don't hear, they'll beat you the same. If you do hear and you make a mistake, they beat you the same, even with the effort, even with the apology. So much so that most times when they are beating you up, if you say, I'm sorry, they'll tell you, say you are sorry to yourself. Meaning, you cannot seek forgiveness. You are going to get punished. You cannot make mistake. It's what they effectively tell you. And like I said in the previous episode, every Nigerian is perfect until you apologize. So this is what they are teaching you at a young age. Always be perfect. Never make a mistake. Never do that. Because if you make a mistake, you will get punished for it. If you don't know something, just know it. Because the moment you highlight that you don't know it, you get punished for being a dullard that should have known it. And the worst part is not even just being punished. The worst part is being punished in a way that you can't tell the correlation between your crime and punishment. If the punishment was different for every case scenario, you can better understand the consequences of your action. But this one, you are being punished the same way or throughout, the same intensity, or worse. They punish you differently, but there's no correlation between the punishment. Maybe they just come back from work one day and you are lying down instead of you running to greet them and they beat you drastically. Then the next day, you broke the TV and they just slap you. They only punish you with frustration and non-frustration. You will not understand the correlation between crime and punishment, and you will not understand the consequences of your action. What you will end up doing is you internalize the consequences of your action. So instead of you feeling like, oh, in this place I could have done better here, you feel like there's something wrong with me. There's something inherently wrong with me. I'm supposed to be perfect. I'm supposed to be hyper independent. I'm supposed to never make a mistake. And that's the problem. mistakes are essential to learning. When you are learning something, you make mistakes. And that's why you see a lot of Nigerians, when they're trying to learn something in adulthood, once they start getting frustrated, they leave it, they drop it. And this is a problem that goes a long way. You might even notice it in yourself. You find it difficult to ask for help. You find it difficult to lean on someone else. It's because you're supposed to be inherently perfect. And now you second guess yourself. You doubt yourself at every place because of punishment that had nothing to do with your crime. Because a lot of the time, the people in power that are supposed to protect you, they punish you for their own frustration. They punish you when they feel powerless. Kind of punishment over and over again does damage to your psyche. It makes you feel there's something wrong with you. Now I'm going to say a story. In 2022, a friend of mine called me. Why did she call me? She was working at a lab at the time, and she accidentally poured the blood of an HIV sample on her gloves, and she started crying. She kept on saying, there must be something wrong with me. There must be something wrong with me. Why is there something wrong with me? Why is there something wrong with me? And I'm like, yo, that's just an honest mistake, and it's not even one to be scared about. You're not going to contact HIV from that. She started spiraling. She started saying, in fact, she's not going to work the next day. In the whole moment, all I could see is, this is someone that has never been allowed to make mistakes, because that is a very honest mistake. That is not a big deal. That's what excessive punishment can do. So the question is, are punishment vital? Are punishment important? Yes, punishments are very important, but the same is true with reward, which brings the other point I'm trying to tackle in this episode. If you are going to punish someone for taking last position, for not putting in as much effort as you want, then you should also reward them when they put in the effort, when they get first position. Because if you only punish them when they do something wrong and you don't reward them when they do something right, it makes them feel they have to be perfect, and that's not good for them on the long run. One. Then two, it's not a good enough incentive. So when they start getting incentive from something else, it starts making them feel like, oh, why should I put in the effort? So this is an example wherein maybe a child that was taking first position, by the time they get to uni or by the time they get to senior secondary school, they start flunking classes, but to their friends, they are not cool. There's an incentive there, and that incentive will outweigh the punishment you will give them at home, because you did not reward them. You did not give them an incentive. Their only incentive was avoid punishment, and now they are getting an incentive that outweigh the punishment. Then another thing with punishment is finding the appropriate punishment and communicating that this is a consequences of a particular action, as opposed to just beating without communicating. So if you are going to punish someone, communicate the consequences, and after the punishment, give them a safe environment. In the case of the churches that I said earlier on, if someone is fornicating and you believe in the Christian morality, what you do is communicate that, oh, as a human being, you would sin, but God is there to give you grace. That's the kind of message that will make them know that, oh, there's nothing inherently wrong with them, and they don't need to hide themselves when they do something wrong. Because that's something that comes with punishment. When you are excessively punished, eventually you learn to hide yourself. Eventually you learn to quiet yourself. You don't express yourself. Instead of saying those little things, those little expressions that makes you find your identity at a young age, at your development age, becomes stripped away. And what that leads to is you become a Nigerian adult. And I'm saying a Nigerian adult as someone that is living through the madness, and they don't even know how deep this thing is for them. They don't even know how to express themselves. Because if you express yourself outside of the status quo, there's the internal fear of punishment. And these are like the ideas behind apology, punishment. And the next week episode would be on trust issues, on how this kind of environment impart our ability to trust on other human beings, impart our ability to make friends, impart our ability to have partners, because we have lived in an environment that we can't make mistakes. We don't know how to just express ourselves as a human, because a human being is never perfect. A human being makes mistakes. A human being is supposed to apologize for this mistake. It's only when we become human beings that we can see other human beings as human beings. and it takes one person to start the movement. So today we are starting with you listening to me, and next week we'll talk about trust issues and what it's like to navigate the Nigerian environment. Thank you once again for coming. Bye.